everybody, welcome. My name is Joanie and I am the creator here at Weathered Wings, where I'm just all about DIY, and I'm always here trying to inspire you to create pretty things for your home. Even if you've never picked up a paintbrush or you think you're not creative, I promise you can do all of these fun things. Okay, so today what I want to share with you are these little snow globe ornaments. Okay, these make great ornaments. Of course, you could make them into magnets. They're great little, they could be gift tags, they could be little hostess gifts, little place settings. So I've got that one, I've got this one, okay? And so there's different ways you can use these, or make these, I should say. So I've got a silicone mold, that's what we're gonna be using, to cast our snow globes. And like I said, there's different ways you can make these. You can use air dry clay, you can use epoxy resin, and so I know epoxy resin is a little bit scary for some people. So today I'm going to show you how to use something a lot easier. It's called mix to mold, and it's a ceramic plaster. Okay, so they come out perfect. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of bring you down on the table so you can see a lot better, and we will get started. So, but anyway, so you mix it up. It's very simple, y'all. So it's 3 to 1. It's a 3 to 1 ratio. So let's see if I even have. I think I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna do. So that would be. It's 3 to 1 powder. Okay, to water. So I'm gonna put. Okay, that's 2. It doesn't have to be exact either. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so that means I need 2 parts water. All right, so I've just got some distilled water here. And then just add 2 of those. 1, 2. Okay, so then we just mix this up, and it's going to be kind of like, well, I'm going to say like a dressing. But that's all you do. You just mix this with water. There's no smell. I've just gotten to where I really love using this rather than any of the resins, just because the resins, they are toxic, and it's messy. It is extremely messy. Okay, so you just stir this up and it just gets smooth. Okay, and then you just pour it in. And now you want to get it all the way up to the rim. Now the difference in this and using a resin is plastic, whereas this dries, this cures like ceramic. Okay, and so now, okay, I've got these ribbons. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie a ribbon. All right, so I tie a knot and I leave this little tail right there. And I stick it down in the plaster while it's wet. You know, while it's already kind of, so stick it down in there. And if you have to, I'm gonna pour just a little bit more because I want it to be thick enough right there. Okay, do the same with this one. Here's the top to this one. So I'm just gonna. This is a velvet ribbon, so it's a little bit heavier. Hopefully it'll be just as good. All right, and now we wait, y'all. We wait for like 60 minutes. Okay, let's see what we've got. We're gonna come back down to the table. It's been it's been over 60 minutes. But so this sets up, and it takes about 60 minutes, but you don't have to get it out within the 60 minutes, okay? So let's see what we've got. So they just pop out, right? Where's my camera? Here's our little village. Okay, I think that's super cute. All right, so let's get to the globes. Let's see what they turned out to be like. Ah, so pretty, right? So, they're nice and white, and they're ceramic. So you can tell. So they are breakable, but the details are just gorgeous. Okay, and here is the one with the velvet ribbon. Okay. See how it just, it cured right in there with it. Okay, so I love that. Love how that works. And then these little trees. Very cute trees, okay? There's so many things you can do with these little things. And what I like to do with them is actually this snow globe that's decorated around the outside. I like to put the little scene in here. So see how pretty that is? And this is like what I did with this one, okay? So you can just leave it white and then highlight the edges or glaze them, but I just think that's such a pretty, classy look right here. All right, now for this one, so I made some designs in Canva, and I can share these with you. I have a link set up for them, so they all, I've hopefully, I know these fit, and I kind of reprinted them to make sure they would fit on the outside. So I'm going to cut, I think I'm going to use this little snowman. Okay. Again, I'm using decoupage medium. Okay, I'm going to rub some on the back of this. You just spread it out with your fingers. I mean, I'm just kind of smoothing out the wrinkles. All right, so you gotta let your decoupage medium dry before you can sand off the edges. So once it dries, we'll sand off the edges to get a clean look. All right, so while that is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and take some paint and just dress up the bottom part. I may go with a green. So this is just, it's called Opulence. This is just an acrylic paint, a paint couture. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make sure I don't have any decoupage medium wet right there. You can use any paint, of course, any colors. So you generally will have to give this 2 coats. So a small artist's brush is your friend here. Speed up the drying just a little. Oh, I like the green actually. So even if you have never painted before, y'all, this is really simple. You see what I'm doing? Just painting. While that one's drying, we can kind of move to this one, and I'll just take one of these and show you how we can just glue that on. I kind of love the 3D look, so I just take some glue. I love this Titebond quick and thick glue. rub glue on the back of it. Again, you can paint this, but this is such a pretty white, it's really not necessary. So just make sure you come out to the edges, center it where you want it, and just, you know, let it stay. Just let it sit, it will dry. So then I'm gonna take my gold. This is a metallic paint by Paint Couture. Even though it's called bronze, I use it as my gold. I love it. And so I stir it up. There's not much left. But I just take, I stir it and I take what's on my popsicle stick, and then I just highlight it like this. But you just rub it over the details, and they're high enough to where it's pretty easy. You just can use your finger. I love painting with the colors, but I just, for some reason, I love this one. The white. I mean, I love the white with the gold. And I usually do 2 coats of the gold as well. The first coat just kind of gets on there a little bit, and so I know this isn't dry yet, but I do the same thing. I make sure there's not a lot on my finger when I go to do this little piece. Well, let me show you so far what I'm talking about. Is that not so pretty? But for the little scenery area, again, here it is. I just make sure there's not much on my finger, because you can always go back and add more. But this is so I'll tap my finger over here because this is so, it's not raised as much. Okay, so the little details are a little bit flatter. So you don't want to just gob it on there because it'll distort the design. And I'm afraid this is going to move, so I'm doing really light so it won't move on me. But it just brings out all the little details on these little trees. But I usually just let this dry, and then I'll come back with my second coat. Okay, so I'll let that dry. All right, let's see how we're doing on this one. Make sure it's drying, because it has pretty details too. All right, so let's get that gold back out. Again, I'm just rubbing it on with my finger. But if you want it really covered, you could just take a small artist brush, and especially on the squirrely things, and really fill it in more. Again, I try to do a light coat, and then I let that dry, and I come back and do a second coat. It just makes the gold stand out a little bit more coverage, a little more sparkly, or not sparkly, but shiny. Ooh, love the green and gold. Love it. It's my first one to do in green. I think I will do many more. And don't worry, if you get gold somewhere you didn't want it, you just always go back and touch up. That is looking really pretty. The green and the gold. See how it shines? That's so pretty. Okay. Now, let's see if this is dried enough. I don't want to get paint on it. So you got to make sure you have clean hands at some point, or before. And you don't want to sand it until it's good and dry, okay? Now we're just going to sand the edges to make sure it's good and dry. See how that gives you a clean, see how it starts cutting? put some type of finish on the globe itself. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to make it sparkly? I think I do. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take this, because this just makes everything pretty. It's a glass glitter, and it's sheer frost. I've just got this little gloss varnish. I'm going to paint it on there. And then while it's wet, I'm going to sprinkle that on there. Normally I use glue, but I think this will be good. I think this will work fine. Okay, I'm just going to use this brush because I can stick it down in here. So you want to make sure it's completely covered everywhere that you want the glass glitter. Okay, now you can be done right here. So you can leave it just sealed like this, but I love the glass glitter. Okay, so I'm going to take this little plastic stick, actually just thought about just putting it on the trees, but I just love this stuff. I love it at Christmas time especially. I love everything to shimmer and shine. And you can be generous because, of course, it's not all going to stick. So I always just load it up, and then you knock the excess off. So I'll show you. All right, so it's completely covered. And so then I just take it. I'm just going to dump it over on this paper towel. Now when this dries, when the top coat dries, it'll be clear like this is. See how that's clear? Because that's what I did with this one. And then this will be clear. Right now it's going to have like a hazy, milky look, but it dries super clear. Okay, isn't that cute? It's so cute. Okay, guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. Now you can save your leftover glass glitter. I would come back now and I would put the top coat on the bottom part as well. And I would just let it sit, let it dry. And then you can actually go back and do your edges in gold if you want to, kind of like I did this one. Okay. Now, if you like this look with the transparent epoxy resin, just check out my website, weatheredwings.com. I have a blog post on how I did this one. That's that one. Okay, y'all. That was so much fun. I hope it was helpful. All right, thanks so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you soon.